So this is a standard Super Games cartridge that was provided with some of the bundles of Commodore 64s back in the day, and it contained 3 pretty crap games, like a football game, a chess game, and some cyborg game. So what I've been doing this weekend, removing the default ROM chips that you get in there and replacing them with 2 27C 256 EEPROMs, and seeing if we can change the game that we've got on there with the help of a programmer and an EEPROM eraser. It's got to be Wizball. So I've spent the weekend converting a dumped copy that I created of Wizball from the original cassette, converting it into a CRT cartridge file based on the original Super Games. So using a little bit of code to copy the data from the cassette dump that I created, creating the code that will copy that back into RAM in the correct position, and see if we can store it on a cartridge. So after a bit of messing around, it didn't work straight away, but after a bit of messing around, the cartridge file worked great, and then it was a case of seeing if I could get that cartridge data onto these EEPROMs here. So after a bit of toing and froing, because it turned out that even though the cartridge has 4 banks of 16 kilobytes each, they seem to interleave the data in between the 2 ROM chips. And what I mean by that is half the game isn't stored on one and the other half on the other. It's kind of like 2,000 hexbytes here, and then the next 2,000 here, then the next 2,000, and so on and so on until you get to the full 64 kilobytes. And that's pretty much the size that the Wizball dump was when I created it. And I didn't want to use any compression or anything like that, because they tend to slow down the boot process. But I'm going to plug this in now and just give it a try. So let me turn that off first. Okay, so that's plugged in neatly in there. Let's turn it on now. And there we go. That worked great. Let's try it again. Goes through the normal C64 initialization routine, which I've borrowed from the kernel, thanks to the commented disassembly of the kernel. So I just followed the cold start routine of that, and then copied the data to the RAM and executed the start address, same way as I did with the mixtape that I created in one of my earlier videos. So that was great, and I've still got the original ROM, so I haven't destroyed anything. But what I had to do with the cartridge, these ROMs were actually soldered directly to the board, so I had to desolder these and put sockets on there, and I can, if I wanted to, I could put the original chips back on, or I could program new EEPROMs. So these are erasable ROM chips. You need the UV eraser for it, but I like to keep these for experimentation with. So I'll probably reprogram these and put them on normal program once ROM chips. Those ones don't have the windows, and they're just for single use. But that's fine, and that works pretty well. I'm pretty chuffed with that. So one more look there. Now, I'm probably going to write a guide on how I did this, because to be honest, it was a lot of trial and error. Never tried doing this before, and I'll probably forget. I've spent a couple of days researching and fidgeting, messing around with different things to get this working. So I'll write a guide and put it on my website, and I'll leave a link in the description.